another Smith Boys podcast. We got some news.
Yeah, the Saturday ritual, right? This has kind of become our Saturday schedule, our production schedule of Smith Boys podcast. It's typically Saturdays now. So, what do we got on the docket today?
Well, brother, there's been a lot of news going on after July 4th, and frankly, I'm a little sick of hearing about it.
Frankly, I'm a little concerned.
But frankly, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, Seinfeld. Another Seinfeld reference here. 8 Ball.
Tell us the origins of that hat, brother.
Oh, yeah, if anybody who's a Seinfeld guy, like us here, the two of us are both Seinfeld guys, okay?
Maybe we should do a show on Seinfeld.
We could do an episode on it. Greatest show of all time.
Seinfeld.
Greatest show of all time?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
By far.
I got all 9 seasons on DVD.
Yeah.
I've seen every episode
100 times.
15, 20, 30 times. Easily.
Closely.
Know every line.
Yeah.
So anybody that's a Seinfeld fan would know the reference to the hat with the David Puddy 8-ball jacket.
It's my new coat.
You ditched the fur?
Yeah, I saw Jerry wearing his. He looked like a bit of a dandy. Check it out. 8-ball. You got a question. You ask the 8-ball.
You're gonna wear this all the time?
All signs point to yes.
For sure.
Well, I found a David Puddy 8-ball hat. So you got a question, you ask the 8-ball. But that being said, I say all that to say this. Brother, I am so annoyed with the news of July 4th and this Jameson Williams of the Detroit football Lions.
I brought this topic to you.
You did, and I was indifferent on it at first.
Yeah. So
I was indifferent on it at first, but I was more of the mindset of he's an idiot and he shouldn't have been doing what he was doing.
Let's tell the people what happened here.
Well, let's give a little bit of a backstory of Jameson Williams first and the Lions' accrual of him.
I think we should just tell them what happened initially, and then we get into the thing, because
now
everyone's going to be like, what are you talking about, Jameson Williams? So what happened was, I get in my car Wednesday morning, and I'm like...
July 5th.
July 5th, yeah. And I'm like listening to 97.1. I'm doing, which I hardly ever do anymore.
There's your first mistake.
I hardly ever listen to 97.1. None anymore.
Especially in the morning.
And Jim Acosta and Stoney was on there.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And they were talking about Jameson Williams lighting fireworks off last night
at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, with just a lighter, a Bic lighter, And
there was a video
of it. Short, Instagram, whatever.
Little Twitter Instagram reel. Insert
clip. And basically, Jim Acosta was saying, what are you doing? You use your hands for a living. You are making bad decisions. What are you doing here, right? I mean, just killed Jameson Williams over this. The clip is not nearly as bad, in which we are putting in this video,
which you just saw.
It's not nearly as bad as what it is proclaimed to be when you listen to Jim Acosta talk about it.
Well, Jim Costa's getting a lot of flack on this, but I listened also to 97.9 throughout the day.
He actually made the Pat McAfee show. Jim Acosta.
That's how big this guy.
Jim Acosta's rant and displeasure with how Jameson Williams, what he did, how he handled whatever lighting fireworks off.
Well, it was a tweet. Jim Costa put a tweet out on the Twitter.
Yeah.
About Jameson Williams.
We got an Elon Musk Zuckerberg battle podcast.
Yeah, we could do one on that.
Yeah.
But Jim Costa had put out a tweet about
He didn't thread it?
No. Anybody who's on Thread is a real horse's ass, if you ask me. But
very good.
Jim Costa had put out a tweet pretty much condemning J-Mo for this lighting of the fireworks.
Correct.
And he attached the video of J-Mo lighting the fireworks. Now, I had went the majority of the day listening to 97.9 and hearing everybody on the station pretty much kill Jameson over this. Kill him for it. Nobody was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Everybody was like, dude, you got so much negative publicity on you. You seem like you're a cancer for the team right now. Then you go and do this. This is heresy, man. This is craziness. This is above and beyond. What are you doing? You make money with your hands as a wide receiver. You catch footballs for a living. Jason Pierre-Paul blew his fingers off lighting fireworks 15 years ago. What are you doing this? Leave it to the professionals. So he sent a tweet out basically paraphrasing that.
Sure he did.
And then it ended up making the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
And Pat McAfee went on to basically tell Jim Costa,
mind your fucking business.
Exactly.
It's 4th of July, Jim. Jim, mind your own business, pal.
now my feelings on this have kind of changed over the days, because at first I was kind of the mindset of hearing it all without necessarily seeing the video.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the video and what happened was a little more damning than what it really was. I was picturing him like holding a firework and lighting it like go off in his hands, okay? Or something like that, or throwing a firework and watching it explode. I was of the mindset of that, thinking that was kind of what they were overselling it to sound like it was like that.
Yeah.
And realistically, as you saw in the video there, there's a firework on the ground, he walks up to it, lights it with a Bic lighter, and the wick's like this long, lights it with the Bic lighter, and then steps away and it goes off, which everybody has done.
I was doing it last night. Yeah. The exact same thing. I was doing it last night.
So
Very similar scenario.
So it wasn't in his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it was near his hand as he was lighting it. I mean,
but the wick is like this long, right? I mean, so I didn't feel, honestly,
there was much danger.
No, like you light it and like you run.
That's what it's made for.
That's what it's made for. Like it gives you enough time.
Now, had he lit it and like held it in his hand and was like, "Look at watch me, man."
I didn't feel like I was in any danger at all. Like now I know like Dave Rexroth, the meteorologist locally, like on Channel 7, blew his eye out a couple years ago. You know,
you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Now, was that something that just, obviously, a bottle rocket or something, probably went awry or whatever. Yeah, no, like, but this was a totally different scenario. Like, every firework is a totally different scenario.
Shit happens.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a big deal. Now, you brought up the point that the bigger deal is that this happens at 1:15, 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, to me, the bigger story, the bigger issue...
And I actually agree with this. The firework thing, I don't think is a big deal. Like, he's a 21, 22-year-old kid. I am 40, and I am still doing the exact same thing. And I hope I'm doing this when I'm 100. Like, you got to live life, man.
Yeah, it's July 4th.
Yeah, it's July 4th.
So, I mean...
As much as the Democrats don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah, I find that more of the issue is the fact that it was 1:30 in the morning, and I mean, if he's lighting it off at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, 11:30, I see no problem with it at all.
Nothing good. I have come to this realization in my life. Nothing good happens after midnight.
My old man said there'd be blue-bellied chicken shit bastards like you.
Nothing.
That's a good phrase.
It's a good way to live life. Like, I've been to Vegas many times, and it's crazy, and nothing good to you happens after midnight. Like, you got to be careful, and I live by that motto now. You want to hit the eject button right around midnight, right?
Yeah, that's good way to live.
So,
I would say good sage advice.
It's sage advice, right?
So what and I'm thinking, if it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11:30, he's lighting fireworks off. I see absolutely no problem with it. Everybody's doing it, but when I see it's like it's 1:30 in the morning. Now it's like. It's 1:15, 1:30 in the morning, and he's actively lighting these fireworks. He's not going to bed at 1:45.
No.
He's up till probably at least 2:30, 3 o'clock.
3 or 4, yeah.
That's the problem to me, because it's like, what else is he doing after that?
Before and after. Like, he was having a good time.
Was he drinking and maybe doing a little smoking before he was doing this? Was he drinking and smoking after?
Somebody said that it looked like he had gained weight. There was a comment.
It's probably a good thing, because he needs to.
Yeah, I would say he needs to, but
as long as it's good weight.
I don't know. Back to the firework thing, though, I'm not really sure what is worse if we want to talk about the nighttime thing, the lighting the fireworks thing. But I think let's look at JMO as a big picture right now. So he came in as the 12th overall pick last year.
Was it 12?
He was the 12th overall pick.
What were they thinking drafting him 12 overall?
And that was part of the issue, right? Is like he was not.
I hated the draft.
I hated the pick.
I hated the pick when it happened.
I still hate the pick.
And I'm an Alabama guy.
He is.
Okay? But I never considered J-Mo an Alabama guy.
And here's the thing that people don't understand, or they watch Smith Boys podcast, the thousands and the millions.
There are literally millions.
And millions of the Smith Boys podcast fans that watch.
Of course they do. We're the best there is, the best there was, and the best there
But
ever
I'm
will
telling
be.
you though, we watch every single Alabama game, and it's not like just 1 year, dude. It's year over year. Like
No,
we
and
watched
it-
Alabama for years.
Well, we
now.
don't, and we don't like watch it as wallpaper.
No, dude, like we watch it. Like
especially
Michigan.
me. Like
Yeah.
I'm like fully.
We watch it
engrossed
like
into
Michigan.
it. And I dissect.
Like I watch Michigan. I watch the.
Yeah.
Those are two games that I watch very closely.
We watch
and
and
I'm telling
dissect.
you right now, Jameson Williams, to me, he dropped a lot of balls.
He's overrated and he's a big piece of trash.
As much
he
as
drops a lot of passes.
As much as people want to
he does.
knight him. He's kind of a role player.
Yes, he is.
It's really what he
you
played.
You said this today, and I was like, dude, that's a great way to put it.
He played his role at Alabama perfectly.
Because Alabama's got superstars
John
everywhere.
Mechie was really the wide receiver core of that team.
For sure.
Was John Mechie.
And you had Bryce Young.
Yeah, and we had Bryce Young.
And then you had running backs.
Jameson
You
Williams,
had offensive linemen.
Jameson Williams was really the role guy from the wide receiver.
Yeah, he was not the star.
No, he was. Well, I mean, he was kind of a star because he got the glamour of being the speedy guy that scores a lot of touchdowns because he would catch a 30-yard bomb and take it to the house because nobody could catch him. But he was never. He's not a move the chains guy. He's not a possession guy.
No.
He's not a 50-50 ball guy. He's not a physical guy. He's not going to break a tackle guy.
You know what he is? He's like an extremely. I don't even want to say, like the way you describe it. It sounds like Randy Moss.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
But
No,
he is
God,
nowhere
no.
near the
No,
ability
God,
of Randy
no.
Moss.
No, because Randy Moss was physical. Randy Moss could catch 50-50 balls. Randy Moss had speed and could move the chains. J-Mo is literally just running a straight line or running a deep slant. J-Mo
that's like a lot of Randy Moss.
Jameson
dude.
Williams is Darius Hayward Bay.
Oh God,
That's Jameson Williams.
that's bad. That's real bad.
I mean, better than Darius Hayward Bay, and probably a little more talented. But J-Mo's not the guy that's gonna, wow you with some great catch. He
when
doesn't have
when you
good
tell
hands.
me that, I don't hear 100 catches. I hear a guy that's not going to catch.
Oh
100 balls.
God, no, he won't catch 100 balls. No.
Like
No.
that's not a good thing. Like
God, no, he
that
won't
sounds
catch
like the
100 balls.
70 ball.
Amon-Ra St. Brown will catch 100 balls, 115 balls, 120 balls. J-Mo
Yeah.
will catch like 65, 70, 75, but still get like
Yeah,
will still get like 1,300 yards
Yeah,
receiving.
for sure. Yeah.
And probably score like 7 touchdowns.
7, 8. Yeah. I can see
But
that.
he ain't gonna catch 100 balls, 120
I
balls.
definitely see that.
No way. No way. He is not that guy. He is not that guy.
Okay, you little pimply little shit.
So then we go to he was drafted 12th. He had his ACL torn in the SEC title game just a few months prior to the
Which
draft.
was
in
unfortunate
April.
because we would have won the national title if he stayed healthy.
So they draft him known with an injury.
Didn't play for what?
Didn't play till the first 6. He only played with 6 games left in the season.
Yeah, so he missed like the first 10, 11 games.
And so
Had one catch.
he had one catch. I think
But
it was a touchdown.
He had like 3 drops.
Yeah. And now in this offseason, he gets suspended because he was betting on college and NFL games.
I thought he was just betting on college.
Maybe it
games.
was just college games.
At the team facility.
At the team facility,
On his phone.
which is against
NFL rules.
NFLPA rules.
Yeah, and it's a 6-game suspension.
Correct.
So he is suspended for the first 6 games.
And there was other people that were involved
that have been suspended and
that
kicked
have been
off.
suspended
Some of them
or
are kicked
fired,
off the team.
Or they've been fired if they were like personnel, like with the Lions administration, the Lions personnel staff, not the players. And there was a guy from Washington, the Redskins or whatever they had, the Commanders, whatever the hell they are now.
Football team.
Yeah.
They're always going to be the Redskins to me.
Yeah. They had a player that also was wrapped up in this. So inevitably, he, by the letter of the law, is suspended 6 games.
Now, I don't know if you want to touch on that. I'm just going to say briefly, I agree. I don't want to say I'm in defense of him, but I agree it is a stupid rule and a
For sure.
stupid punishment for the rule. However, the rule's there and he broke it. So the suspension is going to
I
take
think
place
obviously
the way it
he thought. Well, what I would argue with that, or not argue, I guess, but what I would say with that is, he felt it was commonplace to do that. That's what gets me. Is like
he's clearly a stupid individual, bro.
Well, okay, but let's just look at this though. Obviously, I agree with you.
I mean,
on
he was for like the first couple of years of his career as an Ohio State guy. So he is a stupid. He's a
he's a
stupid
dumb shit
shit
asshole.
But he was smart enough to transfer to Alabama.
Yeah.
So.
But I would say this though: if he felt comfortable enough, and the guy in Washington felt comfortable enough to bet, in the locker room team facility, you're telling me these other teams are not having this, or are they really policing this, or their guys know that much not to do this, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot believe that this doesn't happen more widespread.
I would assume it does.
But
Somehow they were monitored. And
I don't like the betting because then you go back to the whole Pete Rose argument.
The betting thing is. This is going to turn into a whole betting show now.
I ain't going down that road,
I don't give a shit about the betting. The players want to bet. I'm fine with it. I don't care where they bet. I don't care who they bet on, as long as they're not betting on their own team in a game that they're involved in. Anything else outside of that, if a player for the Detroit Lions wants to gamble on a college game between Tennessee and Grambling State, I don't give a shit.
See, I have a problem with that.
Why?
It's because they're going to have inside knowledge, dude. You're betting with inside knowledge. If I'm the bookie taking that bet, I'd be like, fuck off. Like, there's no way. Like, you don't know. Like, if I'm betting on San Diego and my best friend is Justin Herbert and I'm, Justin Jameson Williams. I mean, come on. Yeah, dude, I'm really banged up. I can't play. Like,
I guess that's on the bookie then to allow the bet or not. I just think that I got no problem with them attempting to place the bet.
I don't know, but I will say this though. It's really no different than the politicians making tons of money off of their investments.
Oh,
sure.
Pelosi,
I mean, come on.
Sure.
It's the same thing. It's inside betting. It's inside trading.
Although they did make me a lot of money on NVIDIA.
No.
Since I bought that.
Yeah. So we look at Jameson Williams at this point with a couple different things. I look at him like this. Is one, I still don't know what he is as a wide receiver. And to me, wide receivers need to play, okay? Like, I have seen...
He's never going to be Jamar Chase.
Well, I know he's not going to be Jamar Chase. I know he's not going to be Justin Jefferson. I know he's not going to be, Stephon Diggs. He's not going to be these guys, right?
No.
But, like, I got to know, what is he? And to me, wide receivers need to play, dude, because there's a whole route tree that they have got to learn. They've got to learn timing with the quarterback. I just think that he's missed a lot of time.
Well,
and he's way behind. He's way behind the 8 ball right now because
there was the famous clip of Goff being frustrated with him.
Yeah.
In practice.
Yeah.
Like because J-Mo didn't know the route tree or whatever properly.
Great point.
And Jared Goff was visibly frustrated and chewing his ass out.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there you go, right there, case in point. And then there comes another video out last week which went viral of Jared Goff with his eyes closed throwing a strike across the middle to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
With his eyes closed. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that, yeah.
Whether that's a big deal or not.
So I think we look at this whole thing now, with the fireworks thing, and we're just trying to be Monday morning quarterbacks with it all, wouldn't you say?
Was the fireworks thing a big deal to you?
No, not really. Because I was doing it last night. I'd be a hypocrite if I said it was.
Did Jim Costa and everybody on 97.1 make a bigger deal about it?
Yeah, they did. And I tell you what, 97.9 has a real axe to grind with the Detroit Lions, in my opinion. And that comes down to really Valenti and the Lions, because Valenti loves to shit on the Lions. His favorite thing is
his favorite thing is to shit on Michigan.
Yeah, for sure. But you can't right now because Michigan is Michigan. But the Lions have always been,
easy punching bag.
Easy punching bag, right? And so, like, he comes from New York, and he's boisterous and all this type of thing. But the Lions are easy target all the time.
Fodder.
And, the whole Ndamukong Suh thing, remember him and Sue getting in, Sue would call in Wednesday, and he went at Sue.
It was
and
almost
Sue got
like
pissed. Like, he had a personal, like, he was just going to make this personal. But, like, Sue just does this, like, he's an NFL superstar, and I'm calling into the local radio, and I'm getting shit from this asshole.
I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing you a favor for ratings, and you're going to be a prick? Fuck you, dude.
Oh, wow. What did I tell you about the bleep button?
Like, that, seriously, if I'm still, like, fuck you, dude. You're just a little pissant. In all reality, that's what he is. That's what Valenti is. That's what they all are.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, that's what kills me is, like, that.
It was almost like Valenti was, like, purposely trying to goad him.
For sure he was.
For the reaction
For
that he
sure
got.
he was.
And then the Lions canceled their
coverage on 97.9.
Yeah, they ended their contract
Right.
with 97.1 on, so the games weren't on 97.1
Yeah,
anymore.
because they said either fire Valenti or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't fire.
And
Valenti.
I'd have to side with 97.9 on that because Valenti, as much as you might like
more
him,
people
not like
listen
him,
to more people listen
tune
to his
in
show.
just to listen to him, right?
Well, more people tune in to his show because of him than tune in to listen to the Lions on Sunday.
One day a week.
Because anybody that cares about the Lions is watching the Lions. They're not listening to the Lions on the radio.
No. So the value of having Valenti and having, people listen because it's easy fodder to shit on the Lions when the Lions are really bad. There's nothing better than sports radio in this town when the Lions are shit. And they just came off a Monday, or, it's a Monday.
And they just got their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
And everybody's calling in bitching.
Yeah.
It's the day of grievances.
Dude, it's just hilarious.
It is. I love it.
So like, those are the days that we grew up on. And there's been many a day like that.
It's part of the reason why I root for the Lions to lose.
And part of it was beautiful because back then they had shitty-ass coaches like Marinelli and, Mariucci, Jim Shorts. The list goes on. Morningwig. I mean, come on. So anyways...
Patricia.
Yeah, 97.9 to me made this a personal thing again to just shit on Jameson Williams all day over this whole thing. And I look at it as, I think the kid, he may be a talented football player, but I really don't know. I watched him at Bama a lot, and yeah, he's a good player, but I was just like, I don't know what he is.
I'm glad you said that because that he may be a talented player. I want to touch on that for a minute because I'm also listening to these same people call in to 97.1 and talking about possibly DeAndre Hopkins is still out there as a free agent. Yeah, people are still all about DeAndre Hopkins and possibly bringing him in on a 1 or 2 year deal. And then they talk about, well, if the Lions had they'd have the greatest receiving core in the league because they'd have Hopkins, St. Brown, and J-Mo.
Hey,
but to me,
I heard them in the Cooper Cup sweepstakes.
Oh, it's interrupting me.
No, sorry, but you're talking about why.
Let me talk.
Let me talk.
You'll have your turn.
But what kills me about that is people are talking about their receiving core would be so great because they'd have Hopkins, St. Brown, and J-Mo. And then I'm thinking like, you don't know what J-Mo is.
You don't know what he is.
You don't know if he's any damn good. No. What are you talking about? You think their receiving core would be so great? This guy could absolutely suck.
Yeah,
this guy could never play another game for the Lions, possibly.
And I would
he could be a Charles Rogers 2.0.
And brother, yeah, he really mimics Charles Rogers a lot. Like his body type to me, the way he plays the game is very Charles Rogery to me.
But Rogers was like
Rogers was a better receiver.
He was more of a Moss.
He was more of a Moss type, but when he broke his collarbone, he was done.
He broke it again.
Yeah, he was done.
But I hate this, listening to these the pundits, the 97.9, the talk show hosts talking about like the receiving core is so good with J-Mo in there, and it's like you don't know what this guy is.
Yeah.
What do you mean good? He was the 12th overall pick, and he's got 1 catch. He's got more drops than he has catches. What are you talking about? That it being so good? You have St. Brown. Great. St. Brown's a football player.
St. Brown's a good player.
St. Brown is your guy. St. Brown's a superstar.
He's your horse.
He's a superstar.
Yeah. Yeah. The only bad thing is Lions don't have any superstars because of the Detroit Lions. Like it's going to take a really special player to put the Lions on the map in the NFL kingdom of view.
Could it be Jahmyr Gibbs?
No. I think it's going to be a quarterback. It's got to be
a quarterback.
It's got to be a quarterback. Dude.
I don't know, brother. Jahmyr Gibbs turns out to be Alvin Kamara. Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara.
The Lions are always on the fringe.
Kamara was
Lions,
a superstar in this. So Kamara was probably the biggest superstar in the league for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was. But the Lions are the lunatic fringe. Okay, I love that phrase. I heard it the other day. I was watching the American Gladiator special.
You watching John Moxley?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I said it too. Yeah, but I view the NFL. Stupid. The NFL has kind of a kingdom, right?
Fuji Mountain.
Yeah, I know. And in the center of that kingdom are all your really good teams and stuff, and franchises, right?
Kansas City,
Dallas,
Eagles,
your cornerstones, right? The Patriots
Ravens.
and shit. Yeah, the Ravens. Like the Lions are on like the shitty neighborhood.
But the Lions are so far on the outskirts, they don't even see the other.
That's what I'm saying. And to be thought of in that echelon, I like that word, echelon. They have to really rise a very long way. Okay, and they need a superstar or two, and they need to win. Okay, like they need to win playoff games and get to an NFC title game. And I think they need to do it more than like 1 year. In the NFL kingdom, they're going to be looked at as piss ants until they ascend to this level for multiple years.
Okay? If the Lions want to be considered relevant and serious, they need to win.
Turn into a Lions pod.
Lions need to win this division like the next 3 years in a row.
I'd say 4 or 5.
3 or 4 years in a row, they need to win this division to be considered like a
4 or 5
to be considered that upper echelon. They need to win this division outright the next 3 or 4 years in a row.
4.
And there's no reason why they couldn't.
Yeah. So anyway,
unless Jordan Love turns out to be like Pat Mahomes.
I heard he looks good.
I said this podcasts ago.
Yeah,
I
you
said
did.
I
was
said,
skeptical.
I said watch Jordan Love. Everybody's been dogging on him, and I said, but
He
now
looks like $1 million.
he's the number 1 guy now. So he's been getting number 2 reps in practice for years. Now he's the guy getting all the reps in practice. And I said, what if he starts getting all the reps? It starts turning into a star.
It was a good point at the time. I was like, yeah, you're right.
And now it's turning out to be like, well, shit, he's getting all the reps, and he looks pretty damn good now.
But staying on target with J-Mo.
Yeah.
Brother, I've talked a lot about this in this pod today. I'm going to turn it over to you as far as what do you think goes on from here? Okay, so we're on a 6-game suspension, right? He's going to play the last 11, presumably. The last 11 games, presumably, barring injury, right? But, like, where do we go with J-Mo? Give me your take on it, big picture. You're a big picture guy now. So
you don't want to know.
Tell me, talk to me, brother.
You don't want to know what I think. If I was a Nostradamus,
we're on a podcast.
If I was Nostradamus doing a prediction of how I think this is going to play out,
you're Cameron Smith.
Of how I think this is going to play out with J-Mo and the Lions.
Talk to me.
I think he comes back after his 6-game suspension this year, plays a game or two, and I think he gets hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
misses the rest of the year.
Oh my God. If that happens,
I think that's what happens. I really do. If he stays healthy the remainder of those 6 games, if he comes back in week 7 and plays the next 10, 11 games straight, I'd be shocked if he does. If
Say
he
he
plays
does. Say what expectation do you have? Do you think he's going to get hurt there? Because I was going to say,
I think he gets hurt for sure.
What do you think at the end of the season his stats are?
If he stays
and what does
healthy,
he need to be? What does he need to be to kind of start to show people, hey, he is good?
You want to do like full disclosure? He stays healthy.
Like what do you think he's going to do if he
I think he gets hurt. I think he gets hurt.
I would not be surprised.
I think he gets hurt for sure. But I'll play devil's advocate. Say he stays healthy, doesn't get hurt, plays the next 11 games. He gets
What's going to be satisfactory statistics for you?
I would say I'd say about 800 yards receiving, 800 yards receiving.
It's close to 1,000.
Yeah, and I would say
40 catches.
I'd say he gets 50 catches.
So not even,
I'd say he gets 50 catches.
Okay.
45, 50 catches in those 11 games.
Yeah.
And I'd say he gets 650, 700 yards receiving, and maybe 5 touchdowns.
So you think roughly?
And I would think that would be a pretty
5 catches a game.
I think that would be a pretty good. I think that would be a pretty good showing from him if he comes back after all this and does that. I would be pretty impressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything short of that, if it's a little short of that, I'd be like, eh.
How many touchdowns are you talking?
I'd say 5 or 6.
On 50 catches?
Because I think they're going to get. Because I think they're going to get him involved a lot within the red zone on screens.
You put it. Okay, so you say over under 50 balls. 40. I would be more inclined to 40.
Over under 40 if he stays healthy for those 11 games.
Yeah. I think that's pretty close, dude.
Because he's going to play 11 games.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 4 catches a game.
4 catches a game.
I would say over.
I'm going to go under.
I would say over. Because there's got to be games where they're going to try to target him at least 11, 12 times.
I agree with you. I don't think he's going to play all 11 games. I can feel pretty confident.
I would almost guarantee he does not.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident in that. I agree with you. And I think even when they played him last year, I was not impressed, man. I mean, he might have been open on a couple plays that Goff missed, but I'm telling you right now, 4 catches, I think it's a stretch, dude. 4 catches a game, I think it's a stretch.
I think that
for him, I think it's a stretch.
Especially when you're trying to get St. Brown, 13 targets. And now
the other problem is St. Brown's going to be open. St. Brown gets open, dude.
Well, now you got Sam Laporta too.
You got
to target him, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs.
And you got Jahmyr Gibbs. I was just going to say.
And whatever, possibly if they sign another receiver for the season.
You got Montgomery.
Say they do sign DeAndre.
And you got a hell of an offensive line. You're going to try to pound the rock, dude.
Say they do sign DeAndre Hopkins. Now you're trying to target him 7, 8, 9 times a game.
You got some good James Mitchell. I wouldn't sleep on him. You got
4 catches a game for J-Mo for the remainder of the season would be pretty good.
Does it seem like a lot? No.
No.
Especially for a guy like St. Brown who catches 7 to 10, 11 balls a game. But for a guy like J-Mo, I would be curious to see how many balls he caught per game at Bama.
It wasn't very many.
I think it was probably around 4.
I think he had like 40, 45 catches the entire season.
And they played, 13 games?
Yeah, I want to say he probably played 13 games. I want to say he had like in the 40s for catches, but had like...
So it's like 4 balls a game.
But I think he had like 1,300 yards receiving. Yeah. So he was averaging like 22 yards a reception.
Yeah, no, that I believe. I mean, he's a big strike guy.
Yeah.
Those 4 balls...
He was taking like 18-yard passes and taking him 60 yards for a touchdown.
For sure.
He was averaging like 21, 22 yards a reception.
I could see him having 4 catches, but having 110 yards receiving.
Yeah, he'll take 1 to the house.
Yeah,
and then the other 3.
And maybe one, and having for every 4 catches, maybe he's going to score a touchdown in 1. So I think he's going to score more touchdowns than you. I'm going to put him over 10.
10 over 10.
Yeah,
you're talking a touchdown a game. You're talking a touchdown a game.
I think there's going to be games where he gets multiple because they're going to bomb him. They're going to find ways, and I like Ben Johnson's offensive scheme, and I like his ways of getting guys open.
10 touchdowns is absurd to me. That's absurd. You're talking touchdowns.
All right, give me 8. Give me 8.
I think that's even absurd.
I don't know, man. He had a lot of touchdowns at Bama. Did he not have a lot of touchdowns at Bama?
Yeah, he did. But
that's what he does. That's what he does. He takes the ball to the house.
I know, but you're not playing Vanderbilt.
That's true. But I just think I'll say 7 touchdowns. That's my over.
7's a little more realistic.
All right, 7. Well, we're Vegas. 40 balls, I think, is a damn good over/under. 7 touchdowns, I think, is pretty fair. Receiving yards, I think your 800 is pretty close. I like your 800.
I'd say 40, 45 catches for 700, 750, and 5 touchdowns.
What do you want to set the over/under at?
For
yardage.
Yardage? No, God, you got to go a little lower than what we think. Then I'd say probably like
600,
over/under like 650 or 600.
I could see 650.
I'd say over at that point.
Man.
Because he's a guy that's going to get more yardage.
I think he's going to miss 3 or 4 games because of injury.
He's a guy. Well, we're pretending he stays healthy.
Yeah, I know.
But he's a guy where his yardage to receptions ratio never matches up because he gets more yardage. He'll
have like 3 catches for 160 yards.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he did at Bama, and I don't know. I still say he doesn't stay healthy the whole time.
I agree with you. I think 650. I'll take the over, but I'm going to take the under 40 catches, and I'll say, man, I think he's going to get like 7-8 touchdowns.
We'll come back. We'll do another J-Mo podcast in like week 10.
But what do you
after he's played for a few weeks?
But what would you say decision making? I mean, just recap it.
I never would have drafted him.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to kill him over this whole thing.
I would have drafted either Jordan Davis, who went right after him.
Right, the next pick.
Or I would have drafted Traylon Burks, who went like 2 or 3 picks after him, the receiver that the Titans drafted.
I'm just not going to kill him over the whole thing. Do I think that it was a stupid decision? Yeah, it was not a wise decision to be out, late. I agree with brother. I think the lateness of it. Because you're now that guy. You're that guy lighting fireworks off at 2 o'clock.
You're the guy everybody hates.
Yeah, you're that guy. Like, 10, 11 o'clock, I kind of expect it.
Especially
but, like, after
July
midnight,
4th.
dude, it's like, enough, dude. I got to go to work in the morning, You got to be respectful. So that part of it, I probably had more of an issue with than the firework piece. Because, like, 97.9 was all about blowing his hands off. I don't think there's a whole lot of risk there.
The risk of blowing his hand off.
You could make the argument, but I just don't see it.
The risk of blowing his hand off to getting down and lighting a stationary fireworks and backing away. The risk of blowing your hand off to that is so minimal.
I thought he was very safe with it. You want to make the argument that you're not going to light fireworks off or have a friend do it. I don't know. Maybe you could, but
you're splitting hairs. With all this.
You're very much so.
With arguing.
But I think the bigger issue is just the decision making in general of J-Mo. Is it sound enough to be a guy that you can count on to take the next step and lead the Lions and be that guy on the outside? That's the whole thing.
I'm going to end it with this, but because we need to end this podcast. But
yes, we do.
If he never got in problem, if he didn't come out injured and miss the first 10 games his rookie year and then get suspended for 6 games,
yes,
him lighting this firework off never would have been an issue.
No.
Never would have been an issue.
No.
If that other stuff didn't happen. That's the only reason people want to kill him is because of his prior rap sheet.
Transgressions.
His prior rap sheet, if you want to call it.
Yes,
so people just want to pile on. That's what the media does. They just want to pile on.
It's easy. It's
and
very easy.
And I was kind of, against the Firework thing at first. And brothers, oh man, he's an Alabama guy. You got to be for him.
I was not killing him for
I don't
it.
consider him an Alabama guy.
But let's not go down this road. What do you think? Back to the JMO thing.
I already told you what I think.
All
We
right.
got to end this podcast.
All right.
So I'd say like week 10, we'll do one when he's played like 4 games.
Yeah.
We'll come back like week 10.
He's
and
got
do
3
another-
catches
Yeah.
and 18 drops, and everyone's all shitting on him.
Yeah,
Again.
and then they want to run his ass out of town.
Yeah, you want to run his ass out of town.
And then he goes to the Eagles and becomes a superstar.
Oh, God.
How about that?
Hey, we're going to do one on Philip Zadina because I guess he's going to Philadelphia, too.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, till then, Smith boys.
People
out.
go bye-bye.
People go bye-bye.